Welcome to the Big Four Accounting Firms podcast, brought to you by big4accountingfirms.com and the Big Four Accounting Firms YouTube channel. Before we get started, just wanted to remind everybody to support us if you have a chance or if you can. Even $1 helps, and we have a link in the description to a website called Buy Me a Coffee. It's just a way to donate to us and support us. Again, any amount is helpful so that we can keep putting out content. And there's also other ways for you to support us in the show notes to this podcast or on YouTube in the description. In today's podcast, we're going to continue the interview question series and specifically target interview questions that I think people will be receiving in 2021, which is the current year that we are in. Previously, we talked about interview questions relating to working from home. And today I wanted to focus on interview questions relating to adversity. Now, one of the key things in 2021 is your ability to deal with adversity. So you can guarantee that the Big Four accounting firms are going to ask you, how do you deal with adversity? And you're going to have answers ready, as you would want to with any type of interview question. But it has to be different scenarios of adversity. It can't just be one. And it can't be something super simple, like maybe a stressful test. You want to have a scenario where maybe you've dealt with a difficult test, but you also want one where you've worked in a team and you faced a team member that didn't want to participate, something like that. Maybe you dealt with a difficult teacher. Maybe you've already had a job and you faced adversity on that job. You faced a deadline, strong client demands, and things like that. These are the type of answers that you want to have ready. But specifically why you are going to have to discuss adversity in 2021 is because of all the things that are going on in the Big Four accounting firms. Now, just yesterday we spoke about KPMG's revenue. The revenue was not good for the year. They did not grow. So you're going to have to deal with a tough situation like that, where you're working in an environment where your group at the Big Four accounting firms is not growing. And you're going to deal with a difficult situation then. Now, you don't need to talk about the bad environment at the Big Four accounting firms, but what they're going to be doing with this question is testing how much you can take. Because right now, there's going to be potentially losing revenue. You might see your teammates get fired, or you might see them stress out. You might have a boss that yells at you. And now, bosses at the Big Four accounting firms are not supposed to yell at you. That's for sure, but it does happen sometimes. Sometimes you have a bad boss. You have to deal with that. And that's another reason HR asks this question, is because they know not all the employees of the Big Four accounting firms are good. Not all the bosses, not all the partners are good. You have to deal with that. And you might also have to deal with working from home, which we discussed in a previous podcast. And that's very difficult. There's an article on LinkedIn recently about the paranoia that sets in when you work from home, because you don't have these normal checkpoints that you would have if you were meeting in person. You could have a coffee break or just a face-to-face discussion with somebody to make sure that your standing was good. You're not going to have that anymore a lot of the time. There will be a point where you go back to the office, but in a lot of places that's not happening yet. So you have to deal with that type of adversity. And that includes dealing with little to no instruction. You have to get used to that. You have to be a self-starter, so that's another way you can deal with adversity. But another answer that you're going to need to have ready is how you deal with stress. And you need to have something ready here, as in you like to work out, you have a meditation app, you have a strong routine, you have a list of things you have to do every day. All these things that manage stress. Whether or not you do that, you need to have something like that ready so that you can show the Big Four accounting firms that you can manage adversity and keep yourself organized. The Big Four accounting firms don't want people where they have to manage their stress for you. All of them have health plans and things like that, but they want you to take the initiative to manage your stress, to manage adversity, and even to help other people that are stressed out. And you have to have examples ready for that. So that's just something to think about. This is going to be key in 2021 as the economy might take a dip. The big four accounting firms might face a decline in revenue. They might fire employees. You might lose colleagues. You have to have examples ready of adversity that you faced. Make a list of it. Use what I've provided here today to make that list and to get ready for your interview. So that's the podcast for today. Thanks for listening. Make sure to subscribe to this podcast. If you can contribute financially, make sure to check out the Buy Me a Coffee link in the show notes to the description. And if you can't, subscribe to our YouTube channel and like this video on our YouTube channel. Thanks for listening.